What comes to mind when you hear the word gifted? Someone born with a high IQ who studies well and skips grades? Someone who has a skill that stands out from everyone else, yet can't perform certain daily tasks that others can easily manage? Or someone who manifested a revolutionary business idea and became a billionaire? That's probably what the general image of giftedness is. But in all honesty, these people aren't all gifted individuals. Of course, they could be. But the characteristics that we've mentioned so far don't necessarily equal giftedness. So then what are the characteristics of giftedness? Let's start with the answer. Gifted individuals are born with an extremely high sensitivity, and that's all. You may think, that's it? I like to explain it using a role-playing game analogy. In a role-playing game, the main character can accumulate experience points by fighting monsters and going on quests. Once enough experience points are accumulated, the character levels up. Games like Mass Effect, World of Warcraft, and The Witcher are examples of such role-playing games. In a role-playing game, the warrior class is usually very strong, and the wizard class highly intelligent. Then what kind of powers would a gifted class character have? Gifted individuals' high sensitivity in a role-playing game could be equated to having the power to gain double the experience points. The experience value they get from the same experience as someone not on the gifted spectrum is extremely high, and therefore results in them leveling up much faster than the other characters. Gifted individuals aren't born smarter than everyone else or brimming with talent. It only seems that way because they're able to receive many experience points and develop rapidly. Gaining double the experience points definitely sounds like a wonderful gift fit for gifted individuals, right? Well, having a high sensitivity to things isn't all great. The gifted class has another characteristic, which is receiving double the damage. No exaggeration, the damage they receive truly is double to what others might feel. When attacked, they hurt more than others, and when faced with injustice or unfairness, the mental stress they feel is also doubled. The pros and cons of having high sensitivity are two sides of the same coin. Imagine someone with a really heightened sense of taste. While they can detect subtle flavors that others might not, they also struggle to eat foods with a slight bitterness to them. This is giftedness. The ability to detect subtle hints of flavor that others can't may seem like a good thing, but sometimes it really isn't. Someone with such characteristics may be seen by others as being picky about flavors, or as a difficult customer complaining about the slightest bitterness or saltiness in their food. I think by now you've caught on that giftedness doesn't mean inherent intelligence or an abundance of talent. Gifted individuals are born with a high sensitivity and an acquired potential to develop and grow greatly by overcoming their pains and struggles. One piece of evidence that backs this theory up is the high linguistic abilities that gifted individuals show. Data shows that linguistic abilities are almost never genetically passed down. On the other hand, sports capabilities and musical talent are often inherited genetically. We hear a lot about second-generation athletes and singers who are successful, but it's a little harder to come up with a successful second-generation novelist. This means that linguistic abilities aren't something you're born with, but rather a skill more likely to be achieved through hard work. Despite this, linguistic abilities are often raised as a significant trait of giftedness. This just shows what gifted individuals are capable of achieving. Again, I reiterate, gifted individuals are not born with, but rather are able to acquire the ability to advance greatly. And there's another thing, which is that there are also a lot of gifted individuals that were constantly exposed to pain and stress, but were not able to harness that power and develop appropriately. Gifted individuals who are referred to as geniuses all over the world are individuals who were brought up in the appropriate environment for them, and therefore were able to develop and mature appropriately. Of course, they also went through their ups and downs, and their development is a direct result of overcoming their pain and relentless effort. And in all honesty, these individuals no longer need any help. Giftedness cannot be tested through IQ tests or school grades. Intelligence is genetic. With IQ tests and paper tests, it's impossible to differentiate between brilliant children born from brilliant parents and gifted individuals. It also becomes impossible to identify the gifted children who were unable to achieve experience points due to a lack of a proper and appropriate environment for them to develop in. The gifted individuals who really need support are the ones who can't be identified through IQ tests or school grades. And then there's the issue of being a high possibility that gifted individuals are mistakenly diagnosed with developmental disabilities. This occurs, for example, because at a glance, it's difficult to figure out whether a child in a classroom might be acting up because they don't understand the class or because it's too easy and therefore boring for them. There are multiple examples all over the world in which gifted individuals are mistakenly diagnosed with a developmental disability, receive education catering to it, and prescribed medication for it as well. As a result, they are not able to accumulate the so-called experience points they need to develop as gifted individuals. So, we've created a collection of questions that we have named the Gifted Finder. The questions focus on the true characteristic of giftedness, high sensitivity, and are designed to pick up gifted individuals that conventional tests could not identify. By answering around 200 simple questions, this questionnaire can calculate the percentage of your giftedness. Here, we show you one of the questions as an example. You often use a wet wipe to wipe your hands and mouth. Answering questions like this one with an answer on a 5-level yes-no scale will be able to measure with fairly high accuracy on whether or not you are part of the gifted spectrum. We want this questionnaire to be taken by all the children who don't do well on IQ tests or school grades, the children who are deemed troublemakers by their teachers, the children hastily diagnosed with developmental disorders. Of course, gifted individuals brought up in a gifted appropriate environment and who are now adults are also welcome to take this questionnaire. Increasing your understanding of your own characteristics, even as an adult, is always helpful, so we definitely recommend taking this questionnaire. Thank you for watching this video so far. Lastly, let me introduce myself. I call myself Gifted S, and I wrote the script for this video and am responsible for creating the questions for the Gifted Finder. I hope that by taking this test, all the gifted individuals who may otherwise have been forgotten are recognized for their potential. If that helps them in any way, shape, or form, that's all I could ever ask for.